Fidelis inter omnes, arboruna nobilis. Mors stupidicet natura.
Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, declares that the start of our key is to fear God, to adore Him, to honor Him with contrition of heart, to invoke Him in all matters which we wish to undertake, and to operate with very great devotion, for God will guide you. When you wish to acquire the wisdom of magical arts and sciences, it is necessary to have prepared the order of hours and of days, and of the position of the moon, without the operation of which you can effect nothing. But if you observe them with diligence, you may easily and thoroughly arrive at the effect which you desire to attain. I understood that within me was the knowledge of all creatures, both things which are in and beneath the heavens. I saw that all the writings and wisdom of this present age were vain and futile, that no man was perfect. I wrote a certain work wherein I rehearsed the secret of secrets, in which I have preserved them hidden, and I have also therein concealed all secrets of magical arts of any masters, namely of those sciences which in any way is worth being accomplished. I have written them in this key, so that like a key opens a treasure chest, this key may open the knowledge and understanding of magical arts and sciences. Therefore, you may see every experiment of mine or others, and let everything be properly prepared for them, as you shall see them set down by me, both day and hour, and all things necessary. For without this, there will be nothing but falsehood and vanity in my work, wherein are hidden all secrets and mysteries which can be performed, and that which is set down concerning a single divination or experiment. I think the same concerning all things which are in the universe, which has been, and which will be in the future. When you wish to make any experiment or operation, you must first prepare beforehand all the requisites, such as candles and incense, which you can find described in the following chapters. The celestial bodies always keep the same relative order, so the observation of the days, hours, and the effects of the constellations may be found here. It is advisable to know that the hours of the day and night together are 24, and that each hour is governed by one of the celestial bodies in their order, commencing at the highest and descending to the lowest. The order of the celestial bodies is as follows. The first is Saturn, then beneath Saturn is Jupiter, beneath Jupiter is Mars, beneath Mars is the Sun, beneath the Sun is Venus, beneath Venus is Mercury, and beneath Mercury is the Moon. The Moon is the lowest of all the celestial bodies. It must then be understood that the celestial bodies have their dominion over the day and night, which approaches nearest in the name which is attributed to them. Over Saturday is Saturn, over Thursday is Jupiter, over Tuesday is Mars, over Sunday is the Sun, over Friday is Venus, over Wednesday is Mercury, and over Monday the Moon. The rule of the celestial bodies over each hour begins from the dawn at the rising of the sun on the day which takes its name from that celestial body. The celestial body which follows it in order succeeds to rule over the next hour. Therefore, on Saturday Saturn rules the first hour, followed by Jupiter on the second, Mars the third, the Sun the fourth, Venus the fifth, Mercury the sixth, and the Moon the seventh. Saturn returns to rule over the eighth hour, and the cycle continues to the others in their turns. Note that each experiment or magical operation should be performed under the day, and usually in the hour, which refers to the same. For example, in the days and hours of Saturn you can perform experiments to summon the souls from the lands of the dead, but only of those who have died a natural death. Similarly, on those days and hours you can bring either good or bad fortune to buildings, have familiar spirits attend you in sleep, cause success or trouble to businesses, possessions, goods, seeds, fruits, and similar things, in order to acquire learning, also to bring destruction and death, or hatred and discord. If you desire to succeed in the magical arts and sciences, you should take care punctually, observing all the instructions given here. If you omit one single condition, then you will never arrive at the accomplishment of the art. The capabilities of your magic depends on this. The proper timings and their purposes are as follows. The days and hours of Jupiter are proper for obtaining honor, acquiring riches, solidifying friendships, preserving health, and obtaining all that you desire. The days and hours of Mars are regarding war, to arrive at military honor, acquire bravery, overthrow enemies, cause ruin, slaughter, cruelty, discord, wound and bring death. The days and hours of the Sun are good regarding hope, gain, fortune, divination, temporal wealth, making new friends, gaining the favor of authorities, and to dissolve hostile feelings. The days and hours of Venus are good for all joyous and pleasant undertakings such as love, kindness, and traveling. The days and hours of Mercury are good for eloquence and intelligence, promptitude in business, science, divination, wonders, apparitions in predicting the future. You can also operate under Mercury for thefts, writings, deceit, and merchandise. The days and hours of the Moon are good for voyages by sea, envoys, embassies, messages, navigation, reconciliation, and the acquisition of love and merchandise by water. The hours of Saturn, Mars, and the Moon are all good for communicating with spirits, as those of Mercury are for recovering stolen goods by the means of the spirits. The hours of Mars serve for summoning souls from the lands of the dead, especially of those slain in battle. The hours of the Sun, Jupiter, and Venus are adapt for preparing any operations whatsoever of love, kindness, and invisibility, to which must be added other things of a similar nature which are contained in our work. The hours of Saturn, Mars, and the days on which the Moon is conjoined with them, or when she receives their opposition or quartile aspect, are excellent for making experiments of hatred, enmity, quarrel, and discord, plus other works of the same kind which are listed later. The hours of Mercury are good for undertakings relating to games, raillery, jests, sports, and the like. The hours of the Sun, Jupiter, and Venus, particularly on the days which they rule, are good for all extraordinary, uncommon, and unknown operations. The hours of the Moon are proper for the recovery of stolen property, obtaining nocturnal visions, summoning spirits in sleep, and for preparing anything relating to water. The hours of Venus are additionally useful for casting lots, making poisons, preparing powders provocative of madness, and all things within the nature of Venus. In order to thoroughly effect the operations of this art, you should perform them, not only on the hours, but on the days of the celestial bodies as well. Then the experiment will always succeed, provided you observe the rules and instructions as needed. For those matters which pertain to the Moon, such as the invocation of spirits, the works of necromancy, and the recovery of stolen property, it is necessary that the Moon should be in one of the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. For love, grace, and invisibility, the Moon should be in one of the fire signs, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. For hatred, discord, and destruction, the Moon should be in a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. For experiments of a peculiar nature, which cannot be classed under any certain label, the Moon should be in an air sign, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. But if these things seem too difficult, it will suffice to merely notice the Moon after her conjunction with the Sun, especially when the Moon quits the Sun's beams and becomes newly visible. That's when it's good to make the construction and operation of any matter. That's why the time from the new to the full moon is proper for performing any of the things listed here. In the decrease or wane of the moon it is good for war, disturbance, and discord. Likewise the period when the moon is almost deprived of light is proper for experiments of invisibility and death. But observe inviolably that you commence nothing while the moon is in conjunction with the sun, seeing that this is extremely unfortunate, and you will be able to effect nothing. But the moon quitting her beams and increasing in light, you can perform all that you desire. If you wish to converse with spirits, it should be on the day and hour of Mercury, and let the moon be in an air sign as well as the sun. Whether you work by day or by night, retire to a secret place where no one can see you or hinder you before the completion of your work. If you should wish to work by night, perfect your work on the succeeding night. If by day, seeing that the day begins with the rising of the sun, perfect your work on the succeeding day. But the hour of inception is the hour of Mercury. No conversations with spirits can take place without a circle. So whenever you wish to contact the spirits, you must first learn to construct the proper circle. That being done, surround that circle with the circle of art for better caution and efficacy.